Hello, everyone, and welcome to Spotlight. It is so great to see all of you guys joining in. Already past 100 participants. So great to see all of you joining in from around Europe. We have a very exciting and very timely topic that we're going to be covering today. But before we get into that, I wanted to do some housekeeping, as my colleague Marian likes to say. We have translation available for you guys today. We have Spanish translation available and Polish translation available. So if you're looking for either of those languages, we have you covered. You just need to navigate to the bottom of your screen and you should be able to enjoy the content in your native language. So, how are we all doing? Let me know if the chat works. You can write in the chat, hey, how are you? If the chat isn't working, that's also good to know, so we can try and fix it. Go ahead and write in the chat say hello from where you are. Okay, the chat, I think, perfect, it started working. I was like, maybe the chat is not enabled. It's working. Sophie, so great to see you joining in from the UK. Perfect. Now that I know that the chat is working, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen again. And I want to get to the heart of today's topic, which is the changes that we are seeing in the market, and our take on what that means for us as a network and how we can take advantage of these changes taking place in the market. So I'm going to go ahead quickly and share my screen, give a holler if you guys can see it. Perfect. So what's going on in the market today is a question that we're getting asked a lot these days. How are interest rates, inflation, political unrest, how is all of that impacting the real estate market and our business? So actually, to get us started, I wanted to throw that question back to all of you because we have people joining in from all over Europe. And I wanted to ask you guys, how's the market in your area? You guys can hopefully join this quiz by taking out your phone and either scanning the QR code or joining the quiz at slido.com and then entering in that hashtag code. So it's an active poll. So hopefully some of you guys will start joining in soon. Oh, we have 2 participants that are typing. So how's the market in your area? Okay, slow. That's not that common. That's actually something that we're seeing in a lot of markets. It's maybe not slow yet, but it's slowing down. And that's one of the things that we're going to be discussing today. In addition to sort of addressing what are the changes that are happening, we're going to be talking about what we can do about it. What does that mean for us as real estate professionals and how it will impact our business? Okay, fast, blasting. Wow, that's really great. A slight recovery. Some days people go crazy, but some days they're truly dead. That's also true for life. It's challenging, good, selling well. Okay, so it seems to be a little bit of a mixed bag. Decreasing, more listings, but less demand. Hard for financing through legal regulations. Yeah, legal regulations, that's always a topic. Okay, perfect. Well, you guys can continue to participate in the poll, but I'm going to go on to the next slide, but the poll will remain open so we can continue to collect feedback. I wanted to talk to you about what we call a seller's market versus a buyer's market, just to make sure we're all on the same page, because you're going to be hearing me refer to it Probably Dana's going to talk about it and Donatien as well. So a seller's market is kind of reflecting what some of you were talking about, which is there's not so many listings for the number of buyers that want to buy it. So you got one listing and many buyer leads. We call it a seller's market because the sellers have the advantage. On the other hand, if it's a buyer's market, there's maybe one listing, but there's less buyer leads. And some of you guys were also saying, yeah, the number of listings is going up and the demand is going down a little bit. So that would kind of indicate that you're going into more of a buyer's market scenario. And now that we have covered whether or not we're in a seller's or a buyer's market, I kind of wanted to get like a little bit of a sense check what you think your market is at the moment. If you would classify it as a seller's market, buyer's market, or a balanced market. Okay, we have two responses. Both of them, I guess, said buyer's market. Now it's balanced and buyers. Let's see if we get any sellers. Some of you guys said that it was blasting. So maybe that indicates that some of you guys are still in a seller's market. All right, we have 12 people participating now. So let's see if we can get some more percentages going. Buyer's market seems to be winning out, which is actually not that surprising. And this is what we're going to be talking about today, because this is actually very indicative of what we're seeing all around Europe. You know, we like to keep our finger on the pulse of what's going on a European level, of course. And in our conversations with regional staff members, broker owners, agents, what we've been hearing a lot of is similar to the response that we're seeing here. It's tending towards a buyer's market. Okay, similarly, hopefully the poll should stay open so we can keep collecting responses, but I'm going to keep going because the next part is what that means for you and what we can do about it. You know, we don't need to panic if it's a buyer's market, not at all. I just want to give you guys a little bit of a bird's eye view on a European level, why this is happening or why we see this is happening. And then I'm going to share two quick things that I think you guys can do about it to maximize this market. And then, of course, our special guests are going to be focusing on the solutions and how you can, as Donatien would say, make this year your best year ever. So, you know, why is this happening? So we saw interest rates start to go up and inflation has been going up. The number of mortgage applications has been going down a little bit. And basically what that means is that some markets, not all of them, but it has caused some local real estate markets to slow down in the second half of last year. So as we said, we're seeing less buyer leads come in for one listed property compared to, you know, our record months that we were seeing in 2021 and the first half of 2022. And what that also means is that it's maybe a little bit easier for a real estate agent now to get a listing. If you remember, for the longest time, we were talking about low inventory and how hard it was for you guys to get listings. Now it's probably going to be a little bit easier for you to get a listing because it's going to be a little bit harder for sellers to try and sell on their own because the demand is a little bit lower. So it's not always, you know, a bad thing if the market is slowing down a little bit. So what do we see from RE/MAX Europe, from our perspective? What do we think, you know, will happen this spring? Of course, you know, we can't predict anything with certainty. No one can predict the future, but we can, you know, make some educated guesses about what that will look like in the spring. So as I said, you know, across Europe, we are down the first month of 2023, but, you know, we had a very strong January last year. We have to keep things in perspective as well. And on the other hand, as some of you guys wrote, some of you are still having your best months ever. So this is, you know, it really depends on the market. But overall, we're seeing something start to cool off a little bit. However, during my time at RE/MAX, and, you know, when I've talked to my colleagues around the office, we have always seen RE/MAX outperform our competitors. If you think back to, when the market slowed down in the beginning of COVID, we also continued to outperform the market as well. So we have to also keep that in mind when we're talking about, what that means for us. That, maybe things are slowing down a little bit, but all in all, RE/MAX is very well positioned. And I think that when the real estate market is shifting from maybe a seller's to a more balanced market, it means that the market is declining a little bit, but sellers now have to start competing a little bit more to sell their property. And now that means real estate agents are in a perfect position to win new listings and gain control of the market. So, what does it take to sell a house? At the end of the day, you need the right price, right? Because location and the conditions of the sale are all important. But if you take a house or an apartment from a bad area and put the right price on it, it's going to sell. And if inventory is increasing, then there are more competing listings out there, and pricing becomes a key factor in order to sell. So even if you saw prices start to stagnate a little bit, it's a great opportunity because now we have the opportunity to showcase a different skill set. Buyers and sellers now, more than ever, are going to need a real estate expert to help them complete their transaction, either buying or selling. And, real estate agents need to be having these kind of market conversations and informative conversations with people so they can help them understand why pricing in this kind of market is so important. And Donatiana is going to be talking about that. And of course, the biggest opportunity that we've been seeing for years already, there's opportunities with sellers, which Donatiana is going to be talking about. And the other opportunity that we have been focusing on already for years is providing excellent service to our buyers. So you guys have heard us talk about buyers already so many times. And when the market is slower, it's more important than ever to be proactive in seeking out not just listings, but potential buyers as well. Dana's going to be talking about this topic in a minute. And just to wrap up before I pass on to her, as I said, no one knows exactly what's going to happen. You cannot predict the future, but staying informed about what's happening in your local area, knowing how to properly price properties is going to be key, and having these pricing conversations with your homeowners during the listing presentation is going to give you a huge leg up on the competition in terms of winning new listings and gaining control of the market, because RE/MAX has everything that you need in order to navigate these changes. And as I said before, RE/MAX in times of when the market has slowed down, we're still outperforming the competition because we're prepared. So I'm going to hand it over now to Dana, and she's going to talk to us a little bit about some opportunities that RE/MAX Romania has been exploring when it comes to working with buyers, because they already, started working on buyers before it started becoming a little bit of a buyer's market. So they're perfectly positioned to really take on this challenge. Dana.
Thank you, Haley, and hello to everybody. Yes, we have started at the end of last year to prepare for this market. And we see that it's going a little bit slowing down in terms of transaction, but not in terms of customer leads, because our marketing team is doing a great job in generating leads. But still, we want to be prepare in case that the market will go towards buyer's market. And we do have a plan for this. And thank you for your support. And thank you, RE/MAX Portugal, for the support that you have given to us. And I would like to share with you our experience with this buyer program that we have started. Let me share my screen. Okay. So are you ready to start your future with the buyer service program? I think that it doesn't matter what kind of market it is. It is very important to be focused on buyers because they are ultimately financing the buying. So we get the money from them after all. Okay, I think the topic is money. We all join in Remax for different reasons, for our dreams. And it doesn't matter if our dreams when joining Remax was to get a bigger house or maybe a fancier car, to travel around the world or just get flexible time. Maybe we wanted to meet more people and help people or just be number one and get the recognition that we deserve. We all need the money to make that dream come true. So how do we get this money? I am Dana. I am a Remax member for 7 years and I've run 4 departments. I am since October 2021 a regional recruiting manager for Remax Romania, and since last year, October, I have been project manager for a buyer agent mentoring program that we are running in Romania. And being a regional recruiting manager, I have seen in this 1.5 years many broker owners massively recruiting agents. And the biggest pain was that many of those agents left the business because they didn't get to make money fast enough. So I was consuming myself in finding a solution to how could agents be productive more rapidly? How can they make money faster? And in the autumn last year, Răzvan and Iulian, the owners of Remax Romania, came to me and said, Dana, do you know the program in Remax Portugal for buyer agent that is working really, really well? And I said, okay, I know something about it, but I don't know details. And they said, we would like to implement it into Romania. What would you say to be the project manager? And I said, okay, let me look into it and see what I can do. And I am preparing now 6 months now for this program to implement it, to test it, and to adapting it to our market. And the focus is to make a better plan for the agents to help them have transaction faster. And how do we do that? By serving our buyers with excellent services, giving them experiences above expectations. And we do have systems and a plan. Let me tell you a little bit about the preliminary results that we have from the first test that we run. When we started with this office, Remax Pro, the average time for the new agents to close the first transaction was 5.3 months, a lot of time. And we started the test on 14th of February, 2023. The results, some of them, are the average time to contact the lead for the agents is under 10 minutes. It's a great time. It's really speed to lead. Then 43% of the for sale by owner who were called by these agents met the agent, were convinced to meet these agents. 31% of the buyers who had property tours made an offer. And exceptional is the fact that 80% of the agents from this office had their first transaction in an average time of 1.5 months. So a lot faster than the average before. How do we do that? Well, we have the training program followed by mentorship. Just like you can find it in my Remax with all the buyer program that Haley prepared with all the Remax Europe team. Then we have step-by-step structure for our agents to understand perfectly, what do they have to do in order to have success. We have efficient scripts, and they told us that they are really efficient, and techniques that they can follow to be performant. We also build checklists for them to know what steps come after the other, so they know exactly where they are in the process. Also, we build an activity agenda for the mentors in the office to know exactly after every theoretical training, what do they need to do in the next week for practice. So we help them with an agenda with this. And also we have daily reports for everyone to be accountable and to know exactly what they do and what they need to improve. And we also can find the blind spots of the agents to help them perform better. I want to show you a sample of our training, which is very much practical. And this lady here with the pink hat is our fabulous trainer for this project, who also is a team leader in one of our offices with experience. And she is playing the role, Andrea is playing the role of the buyer. Lady Sophia is the buyer. And the lady behind her is the agent who will try to conduct the buyer, Sophia, into a viewing of a house by using a virtual tour. Actually, we're trying to teach the agents and to practice how can they use all the benefits that they found out in the qualification process to present the house for the buyer through the buyer's eyes in benefits for buyer. So this is a small sample of our training.
Vedeți, e decomandat holul.
Așa, aici am ajuns în dormitorul matrimonial, așa, care după cum vedeți a fost studiul neutre, nu este prea place culoarea ăsta. Nici o problemă, am eu învăriat cu meseria și vine până mâine altă culoare. Așa, bun, să continuăm, avem aici pe hol, avem și Veluxul care ne oferă extra lumină. Așa, și având în vedere că pe noi femeile nu prea ne interesează lucruri tehnice, mai degrabă unde ne putem ține hainele, avem un dressing foarte.
So we try to simulate as much as we can and put in practice in the laboratory all the exercises so the agents are really prepared when they go on the field. What else do? We are really hands-on with each team that is in this project, and we communicate daily with them on WhatsApp groups. We share updates and materials. We have weekly follow-up sessions with them, consulting and giving them feedbacks on their videos. And we even make contests, challenges for them to be motivated and to win prizes. Why do I really believe that this program is flawless and it really is a win-win for everybody? Well, let's see. First of all, if we give excellent buyer service, we build trust and it's easier for the agents to sign contracts with buyers. Having contracts with buyers gives them confidence, and new agents can call for sale by owner, and it's easier for them to get the listings. Having the listings means attracting more buyers, and it's a cycle that goes round and round. And of course, collaboration will go better and better. That means more transactions closed faster. And at the end of the day, that is more money in our pockets. So I really do believe that this buyer representation program can help agents having more transactions faster, can help broker owners having a better retention because they have happy agents who are performant, and also customers because getting a really exceptional service makes them loyal and they're happy to give us more business, to refer us more. So it really is a big business for all of us. And I think the question is not why should we start buyer representation, but why not? What do we have to lose? Maybe we have to invest a little time in getting new abilities, in getting new habits, but that's an investment. It's not a loss. What do we have to win? Well, more clients and more business and more money. So I think that all you need to do is just act, because you have the recipe already in My Remax with the new trainings, and you have Remax Europe support you and give you all the information and support that you need. So all you need is take the information, take the recipe, and put it into practice. I will give you 2 testimonials from the agents that are joining this program here in Romania. I'm so proud of them because for us it's Easter today and yesterday, and they were working yesterday and today to film this video and share their experience with you. So I really, really am so proud of the team from Remax Evolution, Danielle and Rux, who will be next, have the next testimonial. I will play it.
Hello dear colleagues, my name is Daniel Novak. I'm a real estate agent from Remax Evolution, Brașov, Romania. I have participated in the Buyer Agent program and I'd like to share my experience with you. When I joined the Buyer program, I was missing certain confirmation of the process that I was using for my clients, and I needed clarity in how to approach my customers. Additionally to that, I needed the opportunity to interact and learn from the professionals in the industry. Some important things that I learned from this Buyer program is how crucial planning is, client qualification, and the fact that we should never assume anything about them. If I were to speak to my colleagues about my experience with this program, I would say that it's very valuable for anyone who wants to learn more about the buying process and develop their skills in this field. I gain a deeper understanding of buyer behavior and how to bring more value on the table.
And the next testimonial is from Ruxandra, who is also exceptional.
Hello everyone, Ruxandra is my name and I am from Romania, Brașov. I am a real estate agent at Remax Evolution. Before I start the buyer agent training, I was missing the right strategy to make the buyers curious, to find out who am I and what I can provide to them. I left the first day of training with one of the most powerful tools to make the buyers, after just one phone call with me, to wish they meet me at the office. A video where I introduce myself and I invite them to the office. My experience with the buyer agent training, it is one of the best of my life because Andreea and Dana are the pilots of Remax plane. They help me flying from not knowing how to be exceptional to how to be exceptional for any buyer who will interact with me. Trust, confidence, and tools to be above and beyond any buyer expectations. Thank you very much, Andreea, for Dana, and I wish you luck. And I cannot wait to meet you again in order for us to complete this buyer agent training. Have a nice day, and we are a family. Let's make this together and let's make the buyers incredible happy with our services.
So I really, really do believe that buyer representation is the solution that I have been searching for in the past 1.5 years to help agents get money faster. I really recommend you just to test it and see if it works for you as well as it does for us. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dana. Fantastic presentation. And just for everybody listening out there, I did not tell her to say all that great stuff about Remax Europe, but thank you so much, Dana. This is very fulfilling for us. We really try our best to provide you guys with all of the tools so that you guys can succeed And, Remax Romania, as Dana sort of was hinting at, is one of the regions that have taken the Remax Portugal buyer representation project template and have really seen a lot of initial success with it. And I know that some other regions are also experimenting with the buyer representation program. So I look forward to seeing a similar training program being launched in your region soon as well. So yeah, I think like the main takeaway for me from what Dana was saying is like focus on leveling up your skill set when it comes to your approach to buyers. Don't approach market changes from a place of fear, but rather from a place of curiosity. How can I continue to find opportunities within these market changes where other agents might kind of freeze or panic? Keep your cool and stay curious, because it's never a bad market. It's just a different market, and you can always find success and make it your best year ever, which is the perfect transition for my next guest, which is Donatien. But he just turned off his camera. Are you still there? Hi, Donatien. You're muted. Can you unmute yourself? Okay, perfect. I still can't hear you for whatever reason. Maybe you need to switch the audio.
You hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. So you see me and you hear me.
I see you and I hear you. So thank you so much for taking the time, Donatien. Same as Dana, it would be so nice if you could just tell us a little bit about the market, what you're seeing in France. For those of you who don't already know Donatien, he's the regional director and owner of Remax France, co-regional director. We can't forget about Thomas. But yes, from Remax France. So Donatien, I would love it if you could tell us a little bit about the market in France.
Yeah. So first of all, how is the market? It is the biggest question here from the last months. What is interesting is when I was in Las Vegas, I understood that almost everybody was with the same dynamic, almost all around Europe, but all around the world. That means that we've got inflation, we've got the loan rates which increase quite a lot. So we switch from, to make it very quick, we switch it from a buyer market to a seller, from a seller market to a buyer market during the second semester of last year. Mm-hmm. And so we have new challenges for sure. It's a new way to sell real estate, but wow. Clearly we think that 2023 could be the best year ever for any of you, from any agent in France, because there are also a lot of opportunities, and each time we've got changes, that means that we've got opportunities, and we need to focus really on that. So it's the different thought I would like to share with you today. I will share my screen. Let me check. You Perfect. See my screen?
Yes. Yes, we see it. We see your screen and we see it nice and big.
Okay, so that's great. When you ask Haley, how was the market, or how is the market? It's a very interesting question to know what is the mindset of the people who answer that. Because to be honest, I heard a lot of time in France, at least, so perhaps that's French agents saying that the market is crazy because they do not understand the changes. And they say, okay, they are very, very anxious about the market for some of them. And it's true that the market is different. But the point for us is that the last 3 months were incredible in terms of volumes, incredible because the loan rates were very, very low. They were never so low. So for sure, the good question is was it real, or was it the normal the last 3 years, or is it now the last, which is normals? For example, 80% of the buyers in the last 3 years in France says they had to make compromise to be able to buy. That means that they bought something smaller than expected. They bought something more far than the center of the city, of the railway station. And we had buyers who were fighting to buy. But that's not really a normal market. And we should keep in mind that our business is not really to sell real estate. We are helping people to buy and to sell real estate. So actually, when it's more difficult for seller to sell, that's good for us because they need us more than before. And there is something we can share for France is that the numbers of FISBO increased a lot the last 3 years because we had a lot of sellers, for example, who thought that they didn't really need a real estate agent to sell because it was, just so easy to do. And now we are coming back to something, I would say, more normal. So if I go to what are the RE/MAX mindset pillars we need to keep in mind for us to have 2023 the best year ever, is first stay positive because we are entrepreneurs, because we see opportunities and we see opportunities where people do not see opportunities. And actually an opportunity is an opportunity because others do not see opportunity. If they see opportunity, if everybody is seeing an opportunity, it's not an opportunity anymore. And at the same time, we should really stay realist. That means not being blind, not being the head under the sand, or as we say in French, to act as an ostrich. That means that we should really have the balance between, okay, we've got challenges, but we've got opportunities. And if you keep in mind that, I'm quite sure you will have the best year ever. And because there are always business. And real estate is really something which never stopped. We have seen that during COVID. The market can slow down, but actually people need to buy, they need to sell, they need to move, and they can't wait for the loan rates to decrease. They can't wait 2 or 3 years. Some of them can wait several months, but actually they need to move at a certain point. And so you will have business. The other point is that usually when there are less sales, we've got also less people on the market as real estate agents. And there is an exercise, a mass exercise we made within our network. So on your markets, the numbers would be different. But if we say that the number of sales decreased by 25%, so it's a huge decrease. But at the same time, we assume that the FISBO decreased from 40% to 30. And actually it's the opposite of what we have seen the last 3 years. So the last 3 years, they increased from 30 to 40. So if we assume that it will go back because it's harder for seller to sell by themselves. And also, if we've got less real estate agents, what we can call amateurs on the market, and we assume that we have a decrease of 20%. 20% is what we have seen during the last crisis in 2008 in France. The number of real estate agents in France decreased by 20% because some of them were not able to sell, so they move. If we apply these three hypotheses, in France last year, we had 1,100,000 transactions globally. But on this 1,100,000, actually, we can say that 576 has been closed by real professional. But if we apply this hypothesis, we can say that the real pro will perhaps have 630 transactions to close in 2023. That means an increase by 9%. So we need to see behind the numbers and behind, what like journalists say or newspaper says, because actually there are clearly opportunities. And to give an example, Thomas, so my business partner who was in real estate before, his best year in real estate was 2008. 2008, I don't know how was your market, but clearly in France, it dropped by 25%. And so a lot of people were scared. People left the industry, but he worked differently. He changed the way to work, and he made his best year in 2008. So if we do the same, 2023 can be the best year ever for you. So if you agree with me on that, that means that 2023 can be the best year. Now I want to talk with you about 5 actions you can put in place clearly during this year. If you have the right mindset, it's the first step, very important. The second one is put in action all what you want to do. And I will give you 5 actions to do. First, you need to collect data, because as well, when we say how is the market, the words are very important, and especially in this market. In France, anyone can say that real estate is slowing down, but slowing down, nobody really knows what does that mean. We should not be on emotion. We should be really on data. If you want to show that you are the expert, it's not saying the real estate market is slowing down. It's saying, okay, the real estate dropped by 20% in volumes this quarter compared to the quarter last year. That's the expert way of answering this question. And it's really something you need to work on, because we should not say to our customer, the market is crazy. We should say the market is more difficult. There are challenges. It's more complex. And you should explain with numbers. Why? Because if you explain with numbers, that means that you show that you are the expert, you are the pro, you are leading the relationship. And so they will work with you because they will need you. So I can give you, for example, some example of data we gave to our network. On the first graph, it's the evolution of the 20 years loan rates, which is the most common loan rate in France. And based on that, what we can say is that the loan rates are not high. They are not high. It's not true. The point is that they increased fast during the last year. That's the problem we have. But we were at 1% 15 months ago. So it was historical historically low, and now we are almost 3%. So it increased by 2% in 15, 18 months. And but we are at 3. 3 is not big. I remember the first house I bought. It was 20 years ago. I bought at 5%, I guess, and I was really happy because it was a very low rate. The issue we have right now is that the increase is very fast. Also, the number of loans on the graph here, we can see that, okay, it's dropping down for sure, but it's not catastrophe so far. If we compare to the last 10 years, we are still at a high level of loans and a volume of sales also, but it is what you need to learn and to tell to your customer. Another example is, for example, we made simulation of the impact of the rising rates on the amounts of the monthly payment of the loans. So as I told you, nobody really knows what means, how it impacts these rising rates. So we make calculation, and for example, on a 20 years loan, moving from 1 to 3% increase your cost of the loan by 20%. 20% of increase, that's something you can give to the seller, because now you can work on a script saying, okay, Mr. Seller, you should know that the rates on average move from 1 to 3. 1 to 3% means that the buyer, when he buys with an equity of 20% and a loan for 80%, he has globally an increase of cost of 16% when he buys your house at the same price than 15 months ago. So they compromised during the first months, but now they are not able to compromise anymore. They need also the market to make some changes, and we need to discuss about your listing price, because we don't find buyers able to buy your house at this price. It was possible 15 months ago. It's not possible anymore. And what is important is what you have now. So for example, I will not go in detail, but we provide information, financial information to our agents on a quarterly basis for them to be able to talk to the seller and to the buyers. My second point is adapt to the market. What is important is more than saying if the market change or not, or how we will change in the next month. The most important is how we react to the changes of the market. So, because really there is not really a right or wrong market. When we were in a seller market, people were saying, okay, we do not have in-house listing. Now they say we don't have in-house buyers. So we've got always issues, but the point is how we adapt. We need to adapt, and we need to really focus on how we will change and how we will see opportunities everywhere. So really, you should be obsessed about opportunities and say, the one who adapts, the one who are not afraid, will be the one who will do the best year ever in 2023. My next point is about training and improving new skills, because the point is that most of people never practice what is a buyer market. It's completely different. In France, the last 10 years, we were in a seller market. So now we have to practice, and even people who are in real estate for the last 5 years, they are beginners on this kind of market, and they really need to practice. And to be sure that we need to practice, I would say that if you know the difference between a pro and an amateur, is that an amateur trains to succeed, but a pro trains until he can't fail anymore. And buying or selling a real estate is something very emotional. It's something very important for someone. So we can't be amateur on that. We always say to our agents, we need to provide a 5-star service, because it is the biggest transaction in the life of our customer. And so we can't be amateur. We can't train in front of customers. That means that we need to go to new trainings, like the buyer training, and we need to practice the new scripts, not in front of the customers, but first between us. And we say it's like if you go to the hospital, you don't want the doctor to practice on you. You want the doctor to practice before. And when they are working with you, they need to be the pros. They need to be the expert. So do exactly that, and do not be afraid of being ridiculous, even if you are in real estate for a long time. We all need to practice this new way of selling, this new market, to be able to be a pro on this market. For example, what we explain to our agents, and we ask them to explain to our seller, is that until first semester of 2022, the price trends were increasing. That means that even if we overestimated a listing price, some months later, usually the market price came at the same level than the listing price. And so the listing was sold. We were losing time, but the listing was sold. Now, when the market drop or stagnate, if we overestimate a listing price, that means that every single day, the gap between the market and the listing price will be bigger and bigger. And that means that the seller and us, we lose time, and we lose also an opportunity of selling at the highest price. So the logic is completely different, and really need to work on this new script and explain that to the seller every day. Another point, very important, is to set a clear plan of action, especially on an uncertain market. We don't really know how the volumes will change, the loan rates. So it could be very frustrating to focus really just on goals, on financial goals. We think it's more important to focus on the process, on what you will do on daily basis. What is your strategy? How you would talk to owners, to sellers, to be able to change the listing price, rather than just working and focusing on your financial goals, because you do not really, you are not able to control the result, but you can control the process. And especially when you've got uncertainties, it's very important to focus on the process. So what you need to know is to have a clear plan of action. You need to know what you will change in the way to work. Like, for example, we say you need to make a report of activity to all your sellers every week. even if it's to say nothing happened this week, but saying nothing happened this week means we need to talk about the listing price. And if you do not communicate on a regular basis with your seller, then you will not have the opportunity to change the price, because you need to create the confidence with the seller that you are working the hardest way you can to sell at this price. So if you do not have any result, that means that you need to change the listing price. But the seller really need you to note that you work the hardest way you can. And also, you need to work on really regular basis, because what you will change now will not make results just right now, but that the changes for the next 6 months at least. So you need to focus on regular basis and do work your works every day during the next months. Also, you need to work on your database. And I don't know on your countries if you have really a database, but especially on this kind of market, working on the database is the most successful way to have business, because there are people who work with you, who know how you work, I hope well. And so if you show them that you are the expert on the market, you can have a lot of referrals from them. And that means that you need to work on this database. And working on a database doesn't just mean that having contacts on your cell phone, but that means that you are in contact with them on a regular basis. We say sphere of influence. That means that you need to influence them. If you call them every 2 years, you do not influence them. And that's a transition to my next point, which will be about contents. But if we do an exercise also, a quick math exercise, if you have 1,000 people on your database, really 1,000 people, active people, you can say that if they sell every 8 to 10 years, which is the average in France, and when they sell, they can buy also. That means that every year, it's about 180 transactions you can deal with just working on the database of 1,000 people. 180 transactions made, for example, in the next 3 months, that's 45 transactions. 45 transactions of people you know, people who you work with them, or you provide already information. And it's much more powerful than knocking doors or making cold call. So I think really focusing on database is a key point.
And you said you had 2 pieces of content to share with us, right?
Yes, just after I have two pieces, just to say that is the last point. Educate customers to show them that you're expert. That means that you need to create contents on regular basis. You need to make video. I don't know how much videos you do, but now it's really a must-have, at least in France, because most of people are searching real estate based on video. I heard in Las Vegas that 80% of the seller in the US search on video of real estate agent before contacting them. They're not selecting them based on video. That means that they do not even call someone if they do not see video on YouTube of them or on Facebook or Instagram. That means that you are working only with the 20% of the customers if you do not have videos. And Jet, I will share with you two contents we have created for our network. And what I want really to tell you about that is sometimes we think we need to be creative to do that, but actually we are in Remax, we are in a network, we need to make the difference locally. So that means we can copy paste contents. And for example, the one I share now, it was for all the network, but you can take them for your countries also. You've got the idea, you make the changes, you copy paste, and you become the expert. You are the one who creates that. So we need really to work on that to be able also to focus on database. So I share with you two things. First, it's something called the golden question. So we don't really say that in English, but the €1 million question, I think, was perhaps a little bit too high, but in French, we say the golden question. And the golden question is not to know if the market will increase, will decrease, but you need to focus on one particular question. For every single listing you have, is my listing at the right price now? And we provide this image saying that, okay, if you do not have any calls, that means that you are completely in the cloud, in the moon, and that means that perhaps you are more than 20% over the market price. If you have some calls, but you do not make visits, that means that some people are calling based on the photos or the description, but when they have more details, they do not even want to visit. That means that perhaps you are between 15 to 20% over the market. If you've got visits but not offer, it could be 10%. And we know that people become to negotiate if the price is around 5% more than the market price, but no more. So numbers can be different, but the idea is important, is to say, if you are looking at the activity and if you analyze your activity, the number of calls, the number of visits, the number of offers, then you make a different script, and we provide a different script to our agent to give an answer to the seller and saying, okay, we need to change the listing price. The other graph, it's an example of the life of a property poorly positioned on the market. The idea is that if we begin too high, then we will have to decrease. But because the market is going down, and also the attention of the buyers are going down, at a certain point, we will have to make a reduction bigger than what could be the best market price to be able to sell. And so that's the kind of graph our network are using with the sellers to be able to work with the sellers and working on the listing price for sure. And I guess that with all that, clearly 2023 can be fantastic for most of you, or the best of you, at least.
Thank you so much, Donatien. Actually, like, I know we went a little over, but I couldn't cut you off because I think that those two pieces of content, please do exactly what Donatien said. Like, I hope you took a screenshot. We're going to be sending out the recording, but take a screenshot if you haven't already, and take the idea and just copy paste, as he said. Because I think that's really key. You know, we need to be educating the sellers on how these interest rates, how inflation is impacting the buyer's decision and what that means for the sellers. They're used to, you know, having a lot of the control and, you know, having all these buyers calling them all the time. It's maybe not going to be the case in some of your markets. So we need to keep that in mind, and education is key. Donatien, do you have one last thing to say? Did I hear you? No, that's it?
I hope you the best for 2023. I thought I heard
something. Okay, perfect. Well, thank you again so much, Donatien, for your presentation, and for all of your insights. Maybe you could stop sharing your screen, or maybe I can take it back. Stop participant sharing. Perfect. Great. So then, as I said, we went a little over, but I couldn't stop Donatien. He was saying such important things for you guys to learn. Take everything that Dana and Donatien have shared. I think that hopefully the key takeaway should be, yes, markets are changing in a lot of areas, but it can still be your best year ever if you have the right mindset and you take the right actions and level up your skill set. And we're here to help you do that. So that's the key message that I hope you guys took away. And I'm really looking forward to seeing you guys all have your best years ever. Thank you guys so much for joining Spotlight. It has been a pleasure being your host again, and wishing you a successful rest of 2023. And we hope to see you in the next Spotlight as well. Take care, everybody.
Bye-bye.